Coach, first of all, congratulations, state champion. I know that's nothing new to you, but I want to ask about this senior group. There's only 4 of them, but they were obviously very special, and they're going to leave a legacy here. Kind of just describe how they are and how they were.
Those 4 as individuals, they are just great people. That's the first thing I'd use to describe them. They're great basketball players, but above that, they're just great people. They're honest, they're trustworthy, their character's through the roof. Like, they're the kind of kids you want to build your program around. And then on the flip side of that with basketball, they're the dedication to the game. They work with trainers and do as much on their own as possible in addition to what we do. So they're always working on their crafts and their skills, and they got goals and very goal-oriented team. So they've done a spectacular job leading this program. But individually, Lily, Crutz, she didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but she had offers to kind of go play collegiately at the D2 level. She's that kind of talent. And then you got Joy, who's actually on a visit today and, trying to play collegiately. And, it's just her strength, her energy, she's very vocal, love her to death. And then you got Kayla and Pearl, who, the ultimate gym rats and the time that they put in and, the dedication to the game. And it's just their leadership, and again, hopefully our younger kids have learned from them the dedication it takes to get to that level. They're just, like I said, a phenomenal group of kids, and just that's probably the part that's hardest about losing them. Again, you're going to miss the wins that they provided, but again, just to be able to talk to them every day and see how their days are going, and listen to them joke around on the court while they're stretching and warming up, and just that's the part you miss when you lose your groups of seniors, and this is going to be a tough group to lose.
And Coach, obviously the legacy that they're going to leave is fantastic. We can go down with the numbers, all the wins, the state championships, Elite 8, Final Four, whatever you want to talk about, but you guys obviously had to go through something to get to something, and that's kind of what we were talking about before we started recording, is that this group has kind of paid their dues in order to get to where they are now. Kind of talk about the highs and the lows with this senior class.
Well, there's been a lot of highs and lows. You go back to, the very first season when they're coming in as freshmen, that team was ranked like number 1 all year, and then we go to Lovejoy in the Elite 8. We're playing a little injured and hurt. Not to take anything away from the buzzsaw that was Lovejoy in 2022, but we went down there and felt that had we been full strength, we could have been a little bit better game. And then the next year, we make it to the state championship, and again, having the right mix of kids. That championship team started a freshman, 2 sophomores, a junior, and a senior. And again, talking about a team in 23 where, who I would have considered the 15th person sitting on the bench, she was a senior. She still went and played JUCO ball at the end of the season, and she never really got a step on the floor for us. It was just a very, very, very talented and loaded team. I remember in that year particularly, we were down 22 in the second half to Sequoia. Again, just kind of a bad game sort of going on, and they finally, one of the players blessed them out in the third quarter, and flips was kind of switched on them, and we went on a run. And again, the 19-2 in the fourth quarter of the state championship this year, that's something they've done in the past. They've been in those situations. They've came back. Looking at the 13 losses over their careers, those 13 losses have came to nationally ranked teams and state champions in different states. There's very few losses that actually happened in the state of Georgia. And again, this team's just, like I said, they hate to lose. And again, there's a refusing to lose with the mentality. And again, I think that, you go back to that 23 team, Matea Gell was the star of that team, and she was just a dog. And I mean that with the utmost respect. She was just a dog and fierce. And they were all scared of her. Like, if we don't play good, Matea might, we don't know what she's going to do. And again, I think Matea instilled in them how to be a dog, and they play that way. And now they might not have that same attitude, but they still got that same fierceness, and I think they showed that in the state championship. Again, that's highs and lows. The low of this season, we go to Bradley Central, and we had that kind of shooting night that we had, and we couldn't overcome it, and we get beat by 30. And again, a very good team, number 3 or 4 in the country currently. But again, to understand from that loss, you can't go on the road and have a poor shooting night, not be able to play defense. And here we go on the road to the state championship. You have the worst shooting night of the season, and they played defense. They learned from that, and they played defense. The lead never got so insurmountable that we couldn't overcome it, or at least I never felt that we couldn't overcome it. And so, we started talking, especially in that fourth quarter. It was, listen, defense has been great for the first minute and a half. They haven't scored, but neither have we. And that was at that 5.5-minute timeout, and it was like, ladies, you got to let it fly. And again, uncharacteristic. We're used to shooting almost 33s a game, and I think in that first half we might have shot like 4 or 5. We hadn't hit anything, and it was like, this isn't the same team that we've been playing as all year.
Yeah.
And we finally were, like I said, we were able to, once we got the stops in the fourth quarter, we were able to get in transition and run. And again, we're an up-tempo kind of team. That's the way we love to play. And all the credit in the world to Langston Hughes. Their defense was spectacular. For 28 minutes of a ball game, they played lights out defense. And we were, whether it was their legs or whatever, I don't know, but we were able to get the stops and kind of flip the script and get out and get running. And, that's what led to a 19-2 run and, again, a state championship. So I just love these kids. And, again, there's been highs and lows. We go down to Florida in 23, and because of the weather that year and all the ice storms, all those nationally ranked teams come to that tournament. The Florida ones were there, but everybody else wasn't. We get down there. They readjusted all the brackets. Hey, you're in there with Montverde and the Webb School and all these teams. And it's like, all right, let's see where we're at. And again, and that's why I love scheduling like that too, is, there's a reason we put Bradley Central on the schedule. It's one of the top teams in the country. That's a good, yardstick for where we're at and
right.
and our program. So again, we always want to challenge each other or challenge our teams, and so.
Yeah. And was there a point in that state championship game where you might have looked to those seniors and said, this might be it, or this is going to be it for y'all? This is our last game together as a unit. We need to do something.
Well, that was the discussion before the game. Hey, this is it. You've worked all season, the blood, the sweat, the tears, everything to get to this point. We've achieved every goal. This is the last one. This is the last run. Again, the Thursday in the practice before, this is the last time we're running this drill for the season. Again, we have one drill, perfection, every day, all season, up and down the court for 6 minutes at the beginning of practice. And again, we put a goal of how many points we want to score in this drill. And state championship level in 23 was to be able to get to 300 points, and every trip down is a possibility of 6 points. So again, just running the floor and doing the things, and again, it works our fast break, it works a lot of stuff. Beginning of the season, we're putting up like 240, 250 in this drill, but Thursday before the state championship, 324, like it's like a new record in this drill, and you're thinking, all right, we are ready, our shots are falling, and then you get there, and the shots don't fall, and it's just one of those things. But the conversation never came up, this is your last chance, you got it. No, the conversation at that 5.5 minute was, again, we've gotten the stops, but we're not getting the scores. Ladies, you got to break this down. We get another timeout at the 3-minute mark. At the 3-minute mark, if we can have this from 12 to 6, that's 3 stops, 3 scores, more than them. 3 stops, 3 scores over the next 3 minutes. And then Kayla looks at them. We got this. We do 3 stops, 3 scores all the time, and it's something we practice in drills and scenarios and situations. And again, when she looked at him and said, we got this, I don't know, I felt a lot of confidence in that moment, because there were several other timeouts through that you were looking at them in those timeouts and like, I can't have the ball in your hands right now. It looks like you're about to cry. Like, I'm not going to you on this possession. You look scared to death right now. And again, so we make adjustments. We put the ball in somebody else's hands. And again, they never let down on each other, though, and that's the thing about them. Again, they talk about family. We talk about family. They are family. They're like my daughters. I love every one of them to death. So they stuck together in that tough moment and did what family's supposed to do and had each other's backs, and that's why we were able to do what we did.
And do you ever look at kind of those numbers, just those ridiculous dominant numbers that they have as a senior group, and just kind of take a step back, even as the coach, and be like, man, that's a special group?
Well, I knew when they were in the 8th grade how special they were. I mean, the good collection of talent. And then you look at the talent that was behind them in the 7th grade with Mac and Kyle. I was like, thing. It's a really good group in behind them too. And noticing in the 6th grade, you got Finley sitting down there who's only picked up a basketball in her 2nd year. She started like in the 5th grade or 6th grade playing. But to see the potential that she's already has, she's always been special. So to know that, and then, those seniors, I think they've won 113 games in their 4 years, played in 3 Final Fours, 2 state championships. And again, it's a combination of all. Like I said, you had older players like Matea, you have younger players this year like Finley, you got Mac that's been around for, win that state title. So it's just been a good mix of old, young, and that class of kids. And again, even with this class of kids as old, you had that younger class with Finley, and Reagan's coming up, and she's phenomenal too. So it's just been a great mix of having the right players at the right time for every season to be as successful as it's been.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, last question I have for you was just, with this group leaving, like you said, it's tough. Kind of give us the impact that they've had personally on you.
It's hard to think about them not being here next year. But again, I got relationships like that with Coach Tetley at Etowah. She was Jordan Lipsey for me, and she was my first D2 basketball player to play at River Ridge. Brought us our first state title. I mean, I got to go to her wedding, dance at her wedding. She's about to have a kid. I can't wait to see the picture. So there's relationships that you develop with players that you keep for a lifetime. I've gone to Penn to watch Matea play. There's just certain players you're always going to keep track of, and this senior class is no exception to that. They are just special relationships. But yeah, I'm going to miss seeing them every day. And again, I think basketball-wise, they've left us in a great position. And again, they've left behind that work ethic and dedication, and everybody that we have sees what it takes to be successful. And if they want to continue the success, and we want to still have a successful program and be sitting here in an interview next year, that work ethic has to continue. And that's probably, like I said, the legacy that they leave behind is that passion for the game. But again, like I said, just great people. And it's just going to be hard to see them go. But again, they're going off to be successful and do the things and achieve their goals. I've already told Lily, my first private flight that I ever take that's not going to be commercial, you're going to be flying the plane and taking me on vacation somewhere. And, I can't wait to go watch Joy and Pearl and Kayla all play in college. And like I said, just be able to achieve their dreams and, have them call back someday. Hey, Coach, maybe I'm getting married and invitations in the mail. Again, to know that you had that kind of impact, that they want you there on those kind of days, to me, that's been the most rewarding thing as a coach, getting invited to stuff like that. And again, seeing them achieve their dreams. So yeah, they're going to be missed, truly missed. Great kids.
Well, first of all, congratulations, you guys, state champions again. Kind of take me through the mentality you guys had going into that game, because obviously that game was a little bit of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, we played them before, so we knew going into the game that everyone was going to come out with kind of like that killer mentality. They wanted to win it, so it was just honestly who wanted it more, and came down to the end that we pushed through.
I think it was just the fact of kind of like a redemption for them, because we've played them for 3 years, and also I know the feeling of going in and it being your first state championship and that fire of wanting to win. So just knowing they had that mentality, we kind of had to match it.
And kind of take me through that, because obviously that first half, or 3/4 of the game, I should say, with the utmost respect to Coach back here as well, it was not looking good for you guys, and you guys were down by double digits, found a way to fight back and then win it at the very end. Just kind of talk about your guys' group and how you guys had to, mentally get over the roadblock of whatever it was in that game in order to come out on top.
Going into the game, before we had talked about no matter which way this game goes, you stick together, you play as a team, and I think that's kind of our biggest strength with this group. So even being down, it wasn't anyone's, no one individually was losing, we were in it together. So I think that was really comforting, knowing that we were losing together or we were going to come back and win this together, and I think just sticking together that really brought us through to the end.
I think it was just huge. Like someone had said, all of our fans believed in us, so we had to believe in ourselves. And I just think it was just super important that we stuck together in the moments where we're down by 15, when we're just not used to that feeling. And I think especially with Joy starting to get buckets, and then everyone's kind of followed that lead. And I think once we started like trusting ourselves again, and our crowd was also believing in us, it just kind of helped the whole process.
And obviously when, the clock struck 0, you guys win state. What was the first thing that went through your guys' mind?
We actually ran to each other.
Yeah.
But it was just like, there's no way that we just, I don't know how we did it. I mean, obviously together, but it was just an unreal feeling. It was like we came back against the odds of the game and won. So, and it was our last game, so it was kind of crazy. Like, we've played together for 5 years now, 6 years, even more than that with AAU and growing up together. So it was just kind of like, wow, we just played our last game, we won, we went out on top. Like, it was great.
I was just, we did run to each other. But I think for me, it was just like understanding the fact that I just won't get to play with her especially anymore. And I think winning it was just like, I kind of just didn't know how to react, because it was just like the most of that game we were down for by so much. But it was just an unreal feeling, and it was just super exciting to be able to finish out on top with the girls that I've grown up with.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about next, is this senior class. Dominant, I'm not even sure is the right word to describe it, because the way you guys have played throughout your entire career has been unreal. I don't have the number on the top of my head. I know it's only 13 losses, though, and there's over 100 wins, which is ridiculous. Kind of just talk about this senior group. I know there was only a handful of you guys, and that might be a loaded question to say, to talk about, you guys as a group, but, what would you guys have ever thought that this group would have the career that they did, or that you did at the end of it?
I mean, not necessarily, but we always, we played AAU together, even with, the feeder program and stuff like that. So coming in, as freshmen, obviously, some of us, experienced different playing time and stuff like that. But just towards the end, it was wow, we really, stuck together as a group. All of us made it through. We lost a few here and there on the way, but, it was just a great, overall, I don't know how we, I saw those numbers, I was like, oh my gosh, wow, but yeah.
I agree. I mean, we've just all, especially us two, have grown up playing AAU together, since 5th grade, 6th grade. And so we had, mostly coming into high school, we had a lot of people drop off, and the 4 of us stuck together, especially our freshman year. It was just it was just hard to kind of fit in with a team that was already doing so well. And I think it was just really cool for us to all kind of stick together for the 4, and it kind of became our family.
Mm-hmm. And was there ever a point where, you guys maybe came together as a group and were like, listen, we've been playing together forever. We need to have the career that we know we can have? I mean, was there any of that conversation, or is it just we're playing with our friends and we're having a great time?
I mean, I think after freshman year, when we fell to Lovejoy in the Elite 8, it was kind of okay, we saw how much the seniors wanted it, the uprising seniors, and it was we need to come together, we need to help with that. Because freshman year was just a brand new experience. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we wanted to contribute just as much as we could. So coming back sophomore year, I think that was really the eye-opener. It was okay, we can contribute a lot to this program, we can make a big impact. So just from there on, and winning in sophomore year, it was we wanted to make a difference in this program.
I think especially our 8th grade year, just having success our 8th grade year and winning championships in 8th grade. It didn't mean as much, but also just it's always fun to win. And I think it was something that our whole group came in with the mentality that we wanted to continue that. Knowing we were coming into a program that was already so successful, we kind of wanted that to continue, not knowing that it was going to end with our career, what it was, but we definitely wanted to come in and have numbers that would leave a legacy.
Mm-hmm. And leaving a legacy is what you guys obviously did. Looking back, what do you think you want your guys' legacy to be remembered for?
There's a lot. I mean, obviously we dominated in region with, what was it, 60 and 0?
60 and 0.
Yeah,
60 and 0,
like that.
I think it was 36 and 0, coach, for Cherokee County.
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of leaving crazy numbers like that, but just everyone knowing that we were not just a team, but more so a family. I feel that's the type of team you remember. Those girls really had fun playing together. They put it all out there on the court, and they left their mark here. And I think that's more so what the goal was, and it was definitely left, so.
I think for sure so many people have like come up to me after games and just being like, y'all are fun to watch. Like the smiles, the laughs on the court, the high fives, the touches. There's just so much that I've been able to appreciate about this team, and I think other people appreciate it as well because it's fun to watch a team that cares about each other and trusts each other. I know there was one play during our region play this year where she like collapsed on the floor and like Joy is becoming our point guard, dribbling the ball down the floor. I'm helping her get up.
It's just like, yeah.
So just like the moments like that of just like knowing we all have each other's back, and I think that's a legacy we want to leave for forever.
So you guys kind of already answered it, but I have to ask, what are you gonna miss the most about playing with each other?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's so hard. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We've literally done everything together for, God, I don't even know how long. So I think like just everything, just being together is gonna be so strange. Like going, Georgia Southern to Furman. I don't even know how far that is. So it's just gonna be like completely weird being without her because I've done everything. Practices, games, like, I don't know, but we're always there for each other on the court. Like she said, I tripped and she ran straight to me instead of caring where the ball went. And same thing happened in the region championship game. She fell and I don't even know where the ball went. But it's like, I don't know, it's just gonna be weird playing with different people and not being on the court with her. So I don't know, I'm not ready for that feeling, but I guess it's coming, so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. She's kind of become my sister, so I just feel like it's going to be different walking into that first practice and like being like, oh, I'll see Pearl again, and then she's just not going to be there. So I just think it's just going to be a different feeling because having her presence is always so much different than when she's not there. And so, yeah, so it'll be very different, very much an adjustment.